The circle of fifths. And it's infinite variations. It's amazing how many different designs for the same idea have come up over the years. This is literally the same idea in different configurations with different color themes. Ideally, you'd have something that's black and white. It's a lot easier to work with something like that, because the color themes always have an explanation, and every single one of them is a different explanation. So if you're not able to find a black and white, I can show you how to build one yourself. Now, once again, we're working with a 12-tone equal temperament tuning system. And again, 12 refers to the number of tones we have available. Now, you can very easily build that circle of fifths yourself on paper, black and white, and it's going to help you a great deal. You know, the process of actually doing that with your hand is going to help you a lot. Now, keep in mind that the concept of a circle of fifths, the diagram itself, is actually not one circle, but it's multiple concentric circles, 2 in most cases, and sometimes 3. Now, it is to do with chords specifically. So although you're looking at tones to begin with, and some of them actually have keys signatures on the outside, it's a tool for chords first and foremost. And diatonically, we're looking at these chords. So most of the times you'll see an outer circle that deals with the major chords, an inner circle that deals with the minor chords, and sometimes inside a third circle that deals with the diminished. Most of the times, though, it's going to be just major and minors. And once again, you can do that on your own. And a quick reminder that you can download these from the website for free, and you can get yourself with A's book also, which is very handy. Now, just as before, you start with that cross. So you have 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and 3 o'clock. And then in between each of those two, you draw 2 more to get to 12. So this is how, it's a wonky circle, but this is how you get to a circle, to 12-point circle. If you were to, I don't even know what I'm saying. But anyhow, let's start with the major chords on the outside. So ideally, you will at some point be able to play a note and know exactly what its perfect fifth is. But if you're not there yet, you can use this auditory cue, I guess I should call it. You pick any note, and then you count 7. Let's do it again. And that's its perfect fifth going up. Same thing if you're going down. Normally you refer to the interval, so the perfect fifth, you refer to it going up. So in this case, this would be its perfect fifth. And now, this is how you do it for every single one of them. There's 12, so there's not that many. 12 perfect fifth intervals. And so on. Now again, you can do that on paper quite easily. And normally the diagram begins with C at 12 o'clock, and then it moves around in that sort of perfect fifth motion, if I were to call it, if I could call it that. So again, ideally you would know exactly which is which, but if you don't, you can just count it up. I'm not going to do that, but that's kind of the idea. And then we have a B. And at 6 o'clock we have F sharp or G flat. So there's this idea of enharmonic spelling, meaning that all notes, all tones, but specifically these black, can be spelled either as F sharp in this case, or G flat. Similarly, G sharp or A flat. Now, whether you choose sharps or flats is not necessarily a personal choice. It's to do more with like whether it's a minor or major. All that aside, carrying on, D flats. And one very important thing about this circle of fifths idea is to keep in mind that what's on the right sort of deals with sharps, what's on the left deals with flats. E flat, B flat, and finally F. And on this outer circle we have the major chord. So right now we're just looking at the tonic of a particular chord. And so on. So that's going round in a clockwise motion around the circle. Now the inner circle is to do with the relative minor chord. So for C major, for example, we have its relative minor A. And you might have seen in a previous video, the reason these two are relative, one of the reasons, is because of this particular structure in the middle. So you add a minor third on top of that to get the major chord, and you add a minor third below that structure to get a minor chord. And this applies everywhere within the tuning system. And this structure, this interval is a major third. So you take any major third, you add minor third on top to get you a major chord, minor third at the bottom to get a minor chord. And again, the relationship between these two is that they're relative. Now, most of the times they're sort of small letters to indicate the minor. It's not a bad idea. And you go and do that again in the same actual order. So you see A, even though they're, this is capital A, this is small a. It's the same order. So moving clockwise, you can just copy what's happening on the outer circle. B, F sharp, an ugly small F sharp, D flats, and so on. I'm not going to spend any more time on that, but it's going to be the exact same letters. Now there is a third circle inside, which is actually major second, pardon, above what's here. So in this case, I guess we can use small letters also. That's a tricky one. But anyhow, in this particular case, we're looking at B diminished. And the diminished tone is this one here. So normally it would have been, but it's been diminished to this, to close the circle. Again, in a diatonic context, this second to last column, all the tones have been lowered a tone to close the circle. If you were to put each and every one of these in a circle, otherwise it would have gone on infinitely in a sort of spiral movement. Now, this is the circle of fifths, or the idea of a circle of fifths. And again, these are concentric circles, multiple concentric circles, and they're very useful when it comes to chords. And I'll talk about that maybe in a different video. But once again, a very useful tool to use in your musical journey. I hope this helps.